These are all targets for terrorists. So I'm ready to go. I have a machine gun. Haven't used it yet. Actually, I'm afraid to use it. It's $3 for one bullet. But that's all right. But actually, it doesn't bother. They'll take my deputies only one bullet anyway. But why are they complaining? LAPD had a bank robbery. Remember all the people killed? They had to break into a gun store to get enough guns to shoot the bank robber. There was an armored car hijacked around San Diego. You think a Glock is going to shoot a armored car? Our machine gun will, believe it. If I have any problems in the desert, locking up illegals, you want to get tough, they got a problem. Fortunately, we haven't had any problem arresting all these people. And not one incident, really. Last night we got 108, one backed up against one of our deputies. All of them fled into the desert. We caught them. But we arrested 108 in 24 hours. And people, all I give is the heat. It's great. The more heat, the better I like it. And I'm not one of these crazy guys. The only reason the papers, they go after me, but they're just a little careful. They don't say I shoot from the hip, because they know my background. So I've been around a long time, long time. I was a cop in Washington, locked a tough Blackfeet for 4 years. That's when I got out of the Army. Then I went on to Las Vegas police for a short time, long enough to lock up Elvis. And then I got the job with the Federal Bureau of Narcotics. I went to Washington. I had a little quick contact with the commissioner. And he says, "Oh, you're Italian." "Yes, sir." "You like to lock up Italians?" "I'll lock up anybody." You got the job. So they're going to send me to Philadelphia. They send me to Chicago. That's okay. Had a lot of fun. Melrose Park. I busted some Italians, but you know, I'm an equal opportunity encourager. I bust everybody. Now I bust an illegal Mexico. So, you know, you take an oath of office, you ought to enforce it. That's the way I hear it last year. So, I don't know. I know how to solve it, I told you. Cross the border, put them in jail. Oh, we don't have enough jails to put up the border. We don't have enough prosecutors. You can spend billions overseas fighting wars. We can't put a few tents up and down the border. If you don't want to steal my idea to make me look good, put up some temporary Quonset huts or something. Hire some prosecutors. Do you know if you get caught with 499 pounds of marijuana on the U.S. side in those counties, you're not prosecuted? That's a quarter of a ton of marijuana. Now, if it's 500 pounds, they'll prosecute it. Well, the dope peddlers are buying scales and weighing the thing, make sure they stay under 500 pounds. Now, if you want to put a fence up, okay. You're going to spend billions of dollars to put the fence up. Why can't we put a few jails up? And I'm not saying I'm against the fence. I've been around the border. You know, don't just jump. If you want to go in business, open up a hardware store down there, because you'll sell a lot of ladders and a lot of shelves. You'll become a millionaire. Catch on? I mean, the higher the fence, the bigger the ladder, that's all. And nobody said, all these presidential candidates, I'm so tired of hearing comprehensive. You ever notice that's all you hear? Comprehensive. Nobody knows what the word means. Or, we have to secure the border. A 10-year-old knows you should secure the border. You have to be a genius. Yeah, you should secure the border. Secure and comprehensive. good buzzwords that make it look like you're doing something. You do know that, right? So you ought to come up with a new word. Come up with a more exciting word instead of secure. I don't know. Maybe you ought to say close the border, like we did for a while, right? Nobody says about the fence, when you do use the ladder and get across, what do you do with the people? Well, ask the question, what do you do with it when they do come in illegally? Nobody wants to tell you. You ought to put them in jail. Very simple. I'm against amnesty. It's more on a fairness issue than anything else. My mother and father came here. There's how many thousands and thousands of people want to come into this great country, and they can't. And they wait and wait and wait. Years and years and years. Then you got all these people. They come across the border. They're here. And we want to make them U.S. citizens. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. It's not fair. Not fair. You got to let them come, let them all come. What you got to do is send them back. I'm not against visas. I'm not against, the immigration, that they come in here legally. That's what made this country great, is the immigrants that came here. But you got to come legally. They come across the border. They have health problems, tuberculosis, security issues. I can go on and on. Then they get here. I don't get into this too much about the social problem. I'm talking about locking them up, but still, they get the free medical, they get this, school, everything. And I get all the heat. You're dividing families, Sheriff. You're arresting mothers and fathers, and they're here to work. Okay. And I get very angry at some politicians when they say nobody wants to do the jobs. That's an insult to our country. Yep. Yeah, clapping because you're a little up there in the age. You know what you did where you worked. You know what's happening in Maricopa County? I'm not going to take the credit for it, although they blame me. Just yesterday when I said I'm doing this suppression operation, all the activists, they won't go on the street. They're afraid to go to school. They're afraid to go to church. Afraid to go shopping because of me. Well, why is everybody afraid if they're following the law? Why would you be afraid? You'd be happy to see my 50 patrol cars out there. So I'm getting all the heat. And they're all leaving. Well, I should get a medal for that. I go into McDonald's now, and the guy who owns McDonald's is my dear friend. I made him an honorary deputy. He gave me the badge back 2 weeks ago. I don't care. He doesn't like me locking up all the illegals. He can't hire cheap for his McDonald's hamburger. But when you go around now, you see I see young kids now working. In my hometown in Fountain Hill, somebody here is from Fountain Hill. Go down to the chicken place, whatever. I went there last week. It took a half hour for them to give me a piece of chicken. But they weren't Hispanic. They're white guys. It took them a while to learn how to cook the chicken. But wherever you go, you see a change in personnel. Wonder why. Interesting. So they're all going to California. Everybody we bust. The mayor or whatever, the chief here, the sheriff should be thanking me. Because we have arrested people coming through Maricopa County that were heading for Chicago. See, we're doing you a favor. A lot of them were heading for California. You see, I put big signs on all our, I'll give you the Chicago, they call them paddy wagons. Ours are transport, transport the prisoners, plus big vans that we have. We send the vans to California to get free tomatoes and lettuce. That's how we keep our price down to like 15 cents a meal. Times 2. Brunch, no 3, 2. Get them brunch and a hot meal at night. It's like 30, 35 cents a day to feed the